Hi, this is Leo. In this video, we will talk about part attribute. It's also the last chapter of solid modeling basic. In this chapter, I will show you how to define appearance attribute, physical attribute, standard attribute, and user attribute. Now let's get started. First, let's talk about appearance attribute. We can set face attribute for a part, a shape, a feature, or single face, including color attribute, transparency, shine, and etc. Besides that, there are some internal material texture inside ZW3D, so that we can apply them to the face or shape. Moreover, we can cover external image to the part face. Now let me show you more details in ZW3D application. Okay, first let me show you how to set face attribute. For a part, we can set its attribute in the Tool tab and Face command. Here you can see many attributes you can set, like the color for the front face and the back face. And also transparency can also be set in here. And also there are some other parameters you can set. For example, we can change the face color to blue. Okay. And after that, everything you created will be in blue color. For example, a block will be blue, and also fillet will also be blue. Even a hole will also be blue. Okay. Okay, this is a face attribute for a part. And for shape, we can change its face attribute in the solid folder. Different solids can be in different color or transparency. Like in this case, we can make the top plate as color blue. And also we can give it a little bit transparent. Okay. And for all the frames, we can set it another color. We can press Shift to select it all. And then we can set it to another color. This is the result we get. And for feature, we can change its face attribute as well. Here I'll use another case. First, we need to do something in the filter. We change the filter to face, and then we set the pick rules as feature faces. And then once we click one face, and then all the faces belong to the feature will be selected. And then we can right click and find the face attribute command. Then we can change it in batch. And for single face, it's much more easier. Okay, here we change the filter to default. And then we just select a single face. Then right click and find the face attribute command as well. Then we can change the face attribute. Then we can set the face attribute with the same method. And sometimes we need to make face transparent so that we can see the internal geometry clearly. Here we've got a quickest way to do it. Just right click on the face, and then we select Toggle Entity Transparency command in the right menu. Then you can see the face has been set to transparent. And for the transparency ability, it's controlled in the Configuration Display tab. You can change the transparency ability as a bigger value or smaller value. Okay, next I will show you the internal material texture in ZW3D. We can find it in the Visualize tab, and here you can see there are 55 internal material in ZW3D. You can select one and apply to a face or to a shape. And also you can change the scale. Besides that, we can use external image to cover the part face. Here I will show you the steps. First, we delete the texture we already have. Erase texture. and click OK. Then we can set the shape to be untransparent. Okay, now we are ready for the texture map. So we click on the texture map command here, and then we select an image we want to cover. And then we select the destination face, and then we change the width and the height, and then we set the origin. And we can set the rotation or not. Okay, then we can choose to embed the texture file or not. Okay, after that, we can click OK to apply. Okay, here you can see the result. Okay, this is all about appearance attribute introduction. Now let's move over to PowerPoint to see physical and standard attribute. Okay, next is physical attribute and standard attribute, which are necessary for mechanical design. For physical attribute, as its name implies, it includes mass, density, area, volume, and etc. For standard attribute, there are some basic informations like part number, designer, supplier, description, created time, and etc. And both physical and standard attributes can be inherited in 2D sheet. Besides that, as you know, ZW3D provides multi-solid design. So you can assign different attributes to different solid. They can also be inherited in 2D sheet. Now let's move over to ZW3D to show you more details. Okay, first of all, let me show you the entrance of the physical and the standard attribute. You can find it in the two-tab property command, standard attribute and the physical attribute. Okay, and another way is you can just right-click on the part name. Then you can see the property command here. Okay, for standard attribute, you can see there are part name, part number, designer, manager, supplier, cost, and etc. And also you can set the keywords description here. And also it will record the created time and the last modified time. Here I will type my name as an example. Okay, this is for standard attribute. For physical attribute, we can calculate the area, volume, centroid, stock size, and etc. And if you assign a material to it, we can get the mass property. So here I will show you how to assign material to a part. First, we click File icon. Then we can select the material inside ZW3D. And click OK. Then we can calculate the mass property. And if you want more materials, you can add it by yourself. Here I will show you two ways to add. Okay, we still click on the File icon. And if there are only a few new materials you want to add, like just one or two, then you can just type its name and the density. For example, here I type material 1, and then its density. For example, we make it 8. Okay. Then we click Save and OK. Then you will find the new material in the drop-down list. Okay. But if there are many material you want to add, you can do it as below. First, we click Export. It will export the current material list. And then we find it and we open it in the notebook or notepad. Okay, then you can see all the material inside ZW3D. Then we can add more material. Like here I will add like 3 material and we give it name. And then we change the density. Okay, we save it and close it. Then we import it again. Import material, open, yes. Okay, then it succeeds. And here you can see all the new material we add just now. Now we can enter 2D drawing to see the inheritance of standard and physical attribute. And here you can see the mass attribute and also the part designer. And of course, we already linked attributes in the title block. As for how to link it, I will show you in the 2D sheet chapter. Okay, here we'll close this drawing. Okay, above is all about the part attribute. As we know, ZW3D provides multi-solid design, so we can set different attributes for different solid. Now let me show you the steps to do it. We still take this table as an example. Now we are going to set different materials for the top plate and also the frames. Okay. First, we right-click on the top plate solid, and then we click on shape attribute. By default, the shape attribute is identical with the part attribute. You can see the material is also material 1. Then we can change it. For example, we can change it to glass. Okay. And for the frames, we keep it identical with the part materials. Okay. Now enter 2D sheet to see the inheritance of the shape attribute. Here we can make a BOM table. And here, please remember to check the show shape. Then all the shape will be listed in the BOM table. Okay. Now you can see the material. For the S18, which is the top plate, it's glass. And for the other solids, they are material 1. Okay. This is about the shape attribute. Okay, now let's talk about user attributes. Sometimes if there are more attributes you want to add to the part, you can make user attribute to fulfill this purpose. For example, you can just add some string such as coating color, version, and etc. Anything you want can be added in the user attribute. Or you can combine it with equations, or you can combine it with variables and equations. Then you can get the max length, width, height, or stock size. And also you can get the total cost of the part with that. Now let me show you how to do it in ZW3D. Okay, for user attribute, we can also access it in the tool tab property command. And here you can see a user attribute. And as I said before, we can add common string to it, like coating color. And for the type, you can see string, bold, integer, number, and even date. So here we need the string. And then we can type the string directly. I can already copy one. Okay. And you can add more to it, like version v1. And besides that, we can link the user attribute to variables or equations. For example, we want to add the packing size into the user attribute. Name it packing size. Okay. And then here you can see a little icon, link to variable or variable browser. We can just link to variable. And here you can see some measure variable and also some user-defined variables. As for how to define or how to measure the variable, I will show you in the later chapter. Here we just link to the part size. Okay, now you can see it already linked to the user attribute. And we can use the same way to link to the equations. For example, we can set the total cost We can also link to variable, or we can just show the variable browser and select the variable or equation we want, total cost. Okay, now you can see the result. And just like the physical or standard attribute, the user attribute can also be inherited to 2D sheet in the same way, which I have showed you earlier in this video. Okay, this is all about part attribute. Thank you for watching.